So this is day 3. This is solving inequalities, and now we're going to multiply and divide. So there is a special rule when you multiply and divide inequalities. So let me just bring up the note sheet and we'll talk about it. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to simplify each side of the inequality, distribute and combine like terms. So that's exactly like what we did with the adding and subtracting, so no difference there. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to use the inverse operation to solve. Again, so far, nothing different than what we did when we added and subtracted. But now there's this third rule. Remember that multiplication and division have a special negative rule. So what that means, if you multiply or divide by a negative, only a negative, then you have to flip the inequality sign. So a less than would become greater than, a greater than would become less than, a less than or equal to would become a greater than or equal to, and a greater than or equal to would become a less than or equal to. So let's take a look at a couple of problems and see how this would work. So if we have that first problem there, we have 3x is less than or equal to 9. If I look at this side of the equation, there's nothing I can do to simplify this. And if I look at this side of the equation, there's nothing I can do. All I have to do now is get x alone. Well, between the 3 and the x right here, I'm multiplying between these two. So in order to undo multiplication, I have to divide. So I'm going to divide this side by 3. I'm going to divide this side by 3. My 3's will cancel out. I have no negatives, so I don't have to worry about flipping my inequality. So I'm just going to bring down the same inequality. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So if I were to graph this solution, put 0, I'll put 3. It's less than or equal to, so I'm going to color in my dot and then make it go like that. Show all my solutions are less than or equal to 3. Let's take a look at now a new one that has a negative in it. Let's take the same example, but make it negative 3x is less than or equal to 9. Once again, there's no simplification I can do on the right or the left. But I'm multiplying between the negative 3 and the x, so I have to undo multiplication by division. So I'm going to divide by negative 3. Well, now if I multiply or divide by a negative, I have to flip my inequality sign. So I know now right away that I'm going to change this inequality sign from less than or equal to greater than or equal to. Over here, my 3's will still cancel out, so I'm left with an x on this side of the equation. 9 divided by negative 3 is a negative 3. So now I know that my solution is x is greater than or equal to negative 3. If I were to draw this, put 0. Here would be negative 3. It would be to the left of the 0. It's greater than or equal to, so I'm going to have a colored in dot, and all my solutions would be that way. Now let's do one where we have to do a little bit more to the equation. Let's take a look at 2c minus 7 is less than 1. Take a look at this side of the equation. I can't simplify anything. These are unlike terms. I only have one thing on this equation, so I can't simplify either side. But I want to get c alone. So in order to get c alone, the first thing I have to do is move this guy. Well, he's a negative 7, so I can move him by adding 7 to both sides. So that would be my first step. I'm just adding, so I don't have to worry about my inequality sign. I only have to worry about flipping my inequality sign if I multiply or divide. So here I'm left with 2c on this side. I'm just going to bring down my inequality sign. 1 plus 7 is 8. I still don't have c alone yet. Between the 2 and the c, I'm multiplying, so I undo multiplication by dividing. I don't have any negatives, so I don't have to worry about flipping my inequality. And I'll have c is less than 4. And you could graph that, right? Here's your number line. You're going to put 0, going to put 4. There you go. That would be c is less than 4. And I'll do one last one. Minus 5y plus 9 is greater than or equal to 34. Okay, still no simplifying on either side of the equation, but I do have some addition. So I need to get this 9 over here. So I have to do the opposite, so I'm going to subtract 9. So my 9's will cancel out. I have minus 5y. I haven't multiplied or divided by a negative. I've only subtracted it, so I don't have to worry about flipping my inequality. 34 minus 9 will give me a positive 25. I'm multiplying between the negative 5 and the y, so to undo multiplication, I have to do division. So I'm going to divide by a negative 5. As soon as I multiply or divide by a negative number, I know I'm going to have to switch my inequality. So I'm going to do that right now so I don't forget. Whoops, and I forgot already. My greater than or equal to is going to become a less than or equal to. My negative 5's will cancel out, and I'll be left with a y on this side. 25 divided by negative 5 will give me a negative 5. To graph this solution, I'll place 0, I'll place negative 5. It's less than or equal to. If you have any questions, let me know.